Trump campaigned on build that wall. Are you willing to tear that wall down?
No, there will not be another foot of wall constructed in my administration. Number one. Number two, what I'm going to focus on, the fact is that somebody in this group written a lot about the border. I'm going to make sure that we have border protection, but it's going to be based on making sure that we use high-tech capacity to deal with it. And at the ports of entry,
What
that's
about
where
the
all the
land
bad stuff is happening.
confiscations? What about the land confiscations?
End, stop, done, over, not going to do it. Withdraw the lawsuits. We're out. We're not going to confiscate the land.
All right, guys. So as you can see there, Biden said he was not building another foot of the wall. It is done. It's over. It is finito. They're not going to continue with the project under the Biden administration because the wall is xenophobic, right? It is a symbolism of racism in America that's trying to keep out these poor immigrants, right? Trying to keep out brown people. That's what Democrats said, right? Until they entered the real world. And in the real world, right, leftist loony fantasies, right, don't apply. Because Biden's director of Homeland Security, Alejandro Mayorkas, is now considering filling gaps in the U.S.-Mexico border wall, right? Filling gaps, aka working on the wall, continuing the wall, trying to finish the wall is what it sounds like. But let's read a little bit more here. The Biden administration is considering a return to construction of the southern border wall in order to fill in gaps made all the more glaring by the sudden immigration crisis, according to a report. Speaking to Immigration and Customs Enforcement staffers last week, according to notes from the meeting interviewed by the Washington Times, Homeland Security Secretary Alejandro Mayorkas said Customs and Border Protection had submitted a plan to his department on what it wanted to see moving forward. Quote, the president has communicated quite clearly his decision that the emergency that triggered the devotion of DOD funds to the construction of the border wall is ended, the DHS secretary reportedly told the group. But that leaves room to make decisions as a part of the administration in particular areas of the wall that need renovation, particular projects that need to be finished. Some of that, Mayorkas said, would include gaps, gates, and areas where the wall has been completed, but the technology has not been implemented. Whew. What does that sound like? That sounds like they're trying to finish the wall, right? That's what it sounds like. Discussing the plan submitted by CBP, Mayorkas told those in the meeting, quote, it's not a single answer to a single question. There are different projects that the chief of the Border Patrol has presented and the acting commissioner of CBP presented to me. A Homeland Security spokesperson did not immediately respond to the post request for comment. Former President Donald Trump celebrated the possible pivot by the Biden administration. Quote, I think it's great that they reversed themselves, but a lot of the damage was done because we were going to have that wall almost complete. It delayed 2.5 years because of lawsuits, Trump said in Tuesday interview on Newsmax. We are building it and we are almost finished, and then they call an end to it. And just incredible. But if they agree that they're going to complete it, there's very little to complete. If they agree that they're going to complete it, that's a great thing. That's a very positive step. All right, guys. So as you can see, Trump obviously agrees with this potential 180 from the Biden administration. Now, let's hear from Ms. Jen Psaki in terms of the Biden administration's explanation regarding this report that they're probably going to try to finish the wall. Take a listen.
Quick one about the border. The DHS secretary is reportedly looking to finish some gaps in the southern border. How does that fit with President Biden's day one executive order to stop border wall construction?
Well, wall construction remains paused to the extent permitted by law. So some has already been funded through congressional authorization and funding allocation. But as agencies develop for a plan, it's paused while agencies are developing a plan for the president on the management of the federal funds. When the administration took office, as you referenced, funds had been diverted from congressionally appropriated military construction projects and other appropriated purposes toward building the wall. And wall construction was being challenged in multiple lawsuits, for much of the wall, I should say, not all of it, by plaintiffs who allege serious environmental and safety issues. Under those circumstances, federal agencies are continuing to review wall contracts and develop a plan to submit to the president soon. It is paused. There is some limited construction that has been funded and allocated for, but it is otherwise paused.
All right, so there you go. Miss Jen Psaki, right? Stuttering, can barely finish the answer, trying to give a political correct statement and make it seem like they're not really trying to finish the wall, or that, that's not what they're really doing. They're really doing some other things that she can't really explain properly. But, what more do you expect from Miss Psaki at this point, right? She's a master at dodging hard questions. But regardless, guys, I just find this hilarious, right? Because this is yet again another campaign promise from the Biden administration that he's just not keeping, right? He said, I'm stopping the border wall. I'm done with it. I'm not building anymore, right? And then he has this immigration crisis, right? Partly caused by him, right? Or mostly caused by him because he encouraged people to come, right? And then he realizes, oh man, it might actually be useful to complete the rest of this wall, right? To fill in some of these gaps. Okay, because guys, there are reports that when it comes to border wall construction, they've built like roads, right, for potential entry points into the wall. And because Biden stopped the construction, what happened is that they just built this road, right, that just goes from Mexico into the States, right? And apparently cartels have been just using this road that the U.S. government has made for them, right, in which we're not building a wall, right, or anything like that to stop them, and it's just a road for them to just drive on in, right? That's the type of stuff that happens when you don't complete the project, right? You get infrastructure that, is meant to have a wall, right, to help, facilitate certain activities, right, that go along with enforcing immigration laws, and then you end up with roads without walls, right? You know what I'm saying? Things like that. Okay. And that's what's happening, right? And the Biden administration realizes like it might be more of a problem at this point not to complete the wall than to just go ahead and complete it. Okay. And also on top of that, to me politically, I don't understand why they just wouldn't do it, because at this point we've already put in all the money into it. We might as well finish it up, right? Also on top of that, it could be one of those things where, the Democrats could use as a bargaining chip with Republicans. Because if the Biden administration doesn't finish the wall, the next Republican administration will, right? Because there'll be an easy win for them. Democrats, if they were smart, they would take that chip off the table by either using the wall as a bargaining chip for whatever type of immigration reform they want to do, or they would just go ahead and finish it so that the Republicans can't say that they finished the wall. Now, I'm just speaking politically. That's purely from a political strategy standpoint in regards to why I'm saying that, right? I think it is a bargaining chip for the Democrats. But like I said, from the perspective of the wall already been finished, from the perspective of we're currently in the middle of a illegal immigration crisis, you should probably finish up the wall. It's probably smart for you to divert more resources down there and to do what you got to do, right? But, I wonder if the liberal media, who call the wall xenophobic and racist, right, and a symbol of division, I wonder, are they going to criticize Biden for finishing up? I wonder, are they going to criticize Biden for saying that walls don't work, right? Because that's what they said. But obviously, with this immigration crisis, Biden feels the need to finish it up for whatever reason. Okay? It's just funny because the media seems to conveniently not cover stories and the broken campaign promises of Joe Biden. This was a strong one. This was one of his big ones, right? This was his symbolism promise. The wall is a symbolism of divisiveness, and I'm for unity, and I'm going to unify this country. So I'm not going to build a wall. I'm not going to allocate any more funds towards it. But just like his other campaign promises, he's going to have to renege on this one. So let me know what you guys think. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Most importantly, share a Black conservative perspective. Peace.